Showtime!
Please make your way to your seats. The show is about to begin.
Showtime!
Let the magic begin.
Top startup cities around the world. And as I scroll down here, unfortunately, San Francisco, New York, Beijing, I'm looking. Hey, I don't see us on the list again, John. What's going on?
We are not on the list, and I don't even know where we are. I tried to find out where we are. So PitchBook did this, and I love visualizations like this. So they've identified the top 20 global cities for startups based on funding, deals, and exits from 2017 to 2022. Okay, so we don't have 2023 in here, but as we know, you and I, 2023 was a horrible year for investments in Canada, and 2024 is supposed to be even worse. So again, San Francisco leads by a wide margin, raising over $427 billion in capital with nearly 20,000 deals. And it's home to AI leaders like OpenAI and Anthropic, which has about 20% of all US startups. So strengths include, obviously, deep pool of tech talent, prominent VC firms willing to back risky ventures. So that's really cool. But the cool thing about this is there's some surging Asian hubs here. So Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, they're ranked highly at 3, 4, and 8, respectively. So what's happened from that, or the reason for that, is government funding in China has focused heavily on strategic tech sectors like semiconductors. And something to note, too, is Seoul and Tokyo are also major hubs at 9 and 10. The other notables, and it's not a surprise because these are known as tech kind of hubs, is New York, London, Singapore, and Tel Aviv. They all have strong startup ecosystems. And New York is known for crypto and fintech. London has more of a broad appeal. Singapore has some top VC per capita. But bringing this back home, and people say we have a strong ecosystem, and I don't know about that. But Toronto is absent. Just to put that into perspective, Canadian startups raised $7.9 billion in 2022 versus $330 billion in US. The Waterloo region, although is a major Canadian hub, it lacks the scale of US cities. It's outside of Toronto. There's not a great transit system to get there back and forth. There's a lot of hurdles to get Waterloo to even close to San Francisco. But there is advantages like a stable banking system and immigration-friendly policies. But there's a lot more need for, and feel free, let's have a discussion about this.
Well, I went to the source of the data on PitchBook. Toronto is ranked 28th.
Okay.
And let's compare this. Like you nailed it. You know, the cities ranked the highest in this article were San Francisco, New York, Beijing, Shanghai, and Los Angeles.
Yeah. And
they were ranked due to several factors. The highest capital investment, like San Francisco raised $427 billion.
Yeah.
Strong deal flow. You know, I see deal count 19,000, 13,000, 8,000. And you see exits 2,000. You know, you go down to Toronto and we're at 42 billion in investments. Nowhere near, like we're 1/10 of 15 billion in investments. 42 is
what's that number?
Growth score. Sorry. It's a growth score. Yeah. So 15 billion in investments. 2,000 deals versus 19,000.
Yeah.
203 exits versus 2,000. So you start to wonder about, you don't start to wonder, but those are why, Canada isn't in there. Go ahead.
I'm curious of those deals in the U.S., how many are those from Canadian startups who have gone to the U.S. and gotten funding? Did that take into account there? Because a lot of these Canadian startups are going there because these firms in Canada are just so risk averse, and so is the government.
Yeah, those are the things that have to change. If we want to start moving up on this list, there's things that have to change, right? We need more venture capital capital in cities like Toronto, and if you go scroll down a little farther, Vancouver's 38, and Montreal's 47.
Oh
So
wow, I'm surprised Montreal's so low.
yeah, and it really comes down to amount of investment.
Yeah,
3 billion, 6 billion, 15 billion.
yeah.
So like I often say the money's in Toronto, and people will look at me and shrug, but take a look at that, right?
Yeah. I'm curious if Toronto takes into account the GTA, like, or if it's just strictly Toronto. I'm just curious about that. Like, does it take into account Waterloo? I didn't. Did you find Waterloo on that list at all?
It only goes to 50.
50.
So,
okay, so probably not.
Yeah.
I would
So
assume, but
yeah, we need a few things. We need probably some government changes. The government's moving in the wrong direction with things like the capital gains tax, where they're reducing the level. So even if you take the risks and all this stuff, you're going to get taxed more rather than less. Things like maybe, we need to be moving in the opposite direction, because we want these companies to be investing and doing well here. We should be giving them better tax incentives versus punishing them, because that's only going to drive them to invest somewhere else.
Exactly. And if we're let's just be a little positive here for a second, because I know we're kind of crapping on Canada, which rightfully so, but we do have top engineering and STEM talent coming out of Waterloo, coming out of U of T, coming out of these top universities. The problem is they're just going elsewhere. We've got some great immigration policies to help attract skilled tech workers, but with SHRED, our tax credit, R&D tax credit, they're starting to audit a lot more, which is deterring people from applying for the first time. So that's kind of a concern. Another positive thing is, I don't know if we can say this is a positive thing, universal healthcare. It does remove a major concern of entrepreneurship around securing coverage, but how easily accessible is it when you actually need it? So, but to those outside of Canada, it does make it attractive, right?
Absolutely. Healthcare is expensive in the US, generally considered better in the US, but you have to pay for it. So, you catch 22, you're not waiting for months to get for whatever you need to be done, but you're paying through the nose for it. So you better have good insurance.
Yeah. The other thing too is we're not good at storytelling either. So we do have some great startups like Shopify. What else? I'm trying to think of others. And here's the thing: I can't even think of them off the top of my head. So we need more branding and storytelling around successful Canadian startups. We also need, we need that for a greater international profile, and we also need a clearer path to help for startups as far as where they can go to get access. I know you and I are entrenched in this, and it's still a struggle trying to help these startups get the access, get them the help they need.
Yeah, we need a better ecosystem support. Definitely, that's why we do what we do at TorontoStarts, to help connect the community with all the resources, as many resources as we can. We find sometimes we're a node between nodes, as well as a node ourselves, where people don't know where to go next and what help they need, and what accelerators, what funding, or what markets, or where they should be going for the support. And that's where we kind of fit in to try and push them in the right direction sometimes. But we don't have it really structured. We don't give enough money to the smaller level startups. We give all the attention to bigger startups. So we got to sit around, like we've talked about this before. And the ecosystem support to me means we need a little more structure around the $5,000 investments. Government should be investing into people, and when they reach certain key metrics, they should be investing more and more. And we should have places like 111 that are government funded, that but not 111, because 111 is specifically focused on scale up. So you've got to have raise 2 to 5 million, or 5 million plus, have 5 to 10 employees, just to be there. The
But
problem is
111 is a great example of a successful incubator accelerator that helps that turns out great startups.
we'll have to argue on the idea of successful, but they do produce, they do help the companies there. They have a great educational tool. They recently went under and now are pretty much funded by the government. So I wouldn't necessarily, as a business, say they're successful. But again, this is what I'm saying. We need more of this.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily at this level because they're above a certain threshold. But that's okay. Maybe these companies need to scale up. I'm saying we need more of them below that to help get there. More
Yes, we do.
Buildings like that, infrastructure like that, where you have mentors on site to help people get through it. And if people aren't meeting, the grade at some level, you got to move them out and move others in. And then you escalate them up. Like I'm saying, the $5,000 level, $25,000 level. Now you've got space. Now you've got this. Now you've got that. And we're helping those companies scale. We don't make any investment in them until they reach a certain level hardly at all. Anyway, we've got all these incubators and I don't know how much they work because I got to say, and you can correct me if you think this is different, but I see a startup. Oh, I've just been accepted in this cohort. 6 months later, I'm in this cohort, and 6 months later, I'm in this cohort. So they go from cohort to cohort to cohort, which is great. But that tells me, are they, getting what they need out of them? Shouldn't they only need one? Like, what is it that they're missing? What's happening here? Why are we saying, oh, I'm in Founders Institute. Now I'm Creative Destruction Lab. Now I'm a part of Antler. Now I'm part of this. Now I'm part of that. Maybe not in that order, obviously, but.
No, you raise a good point. They're in multiple different incubators, accelerators, and I don't know why.
Money and support.
Yeah, they're not getting the round of funding that they need to just not be a part of those, right? So,
well, most of these incubators, accelerators provide some level of funding, provide office space and mentorship. So, hey, if I'm going to get 6 months of office space from these people, let's just apply. And you got to wonder, so, okay, and maybe you need that money. Okay. And maybe this program is for you. Okay. But I also, if you've been in 5.
Oh, did I lose you or? No, that's your internet. So, the other, you might have lost internet.
These programs. No, I'm still here. Maybe I'm back.
Are you back now?
Keep going, just in case.
Yeah, no,
I don't know. Keep going, just in case.
No, the other thing that is detrimental too is you're seeing Mars just laid off some people, Communitech laid off people. Like that's not the direction that we need to go in.
Health tech is not doing well, or is going down, from what I understand. I'm not allowed to talk about it if I don't know if it's been announced yet. So, and again, these are funded wrong. Yeah, they're it's great. You see, you got this person as the CEO, and you've got all these people, and why are we spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this? These are millions and millions of dollar projects when it's like when we should be focusing on the 50,000, 100,000 projects. How much it takes, so I can help so many more people with so much less money.
Yeah,
and produce a MVP traction level startups that are now moving things to the next level at a much higher volume as a result of that, where someone else can now take them and move them on. But at the moment, you sit back and say, okay, well, we have to have all these super.
Oh, our host is having some connectivity issues.
Mindset. Am I going? Oh, that sucks. Can you hear me still?
I can hear you still.
Okay, I'm going to keep going because hopefully when we mesh this together, it'll all work out.
Now I see what you see when I have internet connectivity issues. I get it now. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and it's got to be something either with the host or because I see the images drop and stuff, but I'm not getting any indication that we have a bandwidth issue or anything, so I'm not sure. Anyway, I can't remember where I was ranting because of this stuff, but the point being is we're focusing on, if you build these multi-million-dollar structures and all this money is going to employees, it's not going to help the startups. And we have to decide, you start approaching these things. I remember early on talking to some people at Mars and talking about what we did, and they didn't believe that we did all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're $100,000 employee and they get paid to do this little thing. It's like, okay, well, you're not really in it for the startup ecosystem. I don't give a crap what anybody says. You're in it because it's a paycheck and you're doing this 9 to 5. And now it's hard to find people who would do it willingly and whatnot. But, it's not the startup mindset. And you're really finding the wrong people to do the support for these things. And this is why it's struggling, why Communicheck is struggling, why Mars and all these things. I'm not very popular when I talk about these things. Sorry, it is what it is. But you build all this heavy structure.
Yeah.
I have a saying, and it's not necessarily popular, but who makes the worst founders?
Who?
Product managers.
Yeah.
You know why? They can't do anything unless I have a CEO and I've got a marketing officer. And like every startup proposal I get from a product founder I got to hire 5 C-level people before I can even start.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Because you need to have all this, structure and team and all this stuff. It's like, that's insane. And that's what it sounds like, all this infrastructure and all this money's going through and all these big parties and whatnot. It's great. But what are we producing? Why are we 28th? Are we saying, all right, we want to tackle, we need more capital, we need more this, we need more exits. What are we doing about it? Are we targeting the stuff that move the needle? Are we just patting ourselves on the back and saying, oh, hey, we're doing some stuff over here?
Yeah, exactly. I think we're just at the point where we're like, hey, yeah, we're doing some stuff and our risk is low and that's it. And that's not okay, because that's not what innovation is. Innovation is about taking risks. Innovation is about moving the needle forward. It's about growing and taking chances and failing too.
Absolutely. So let's just end that there. And what else you got going on, John?
Actually, I am excited. I have nothing going on. I do have a dinner. Ryan Wong's dinner next, hosted by Ryan Wong. It is a roundtable on entrepreneur burnout, legal, and project management operations. I'll post the link in here for you. So that's happening Tuesday, June 11th, which will be interesting. It'll be fun. There's some peer-to-peer feedback. There's going to be some discussions, some presentations. It's at Casa Mescal on Church, which will be interesting. So there'll be 3 roundtable discussions, which will be interesting.
And we're talking about government funding. You help startups get funding, and when should they talk to you?
Yeah. So talk to me the second you start working on your idea. I might not be able to help so much, but I can at least help give you some incentives or some information on where to focus and what is potentially available to you when you reach certain levels. But ideally, if you have a couple employees that you're paying and you're developing something, reach out to me. I'm happy to help out and have that discussion. And that's the other thing, is the disconnect is most of the funds are for, you must be incorporated for at least 2 years. You must have some revenue, or you must have employees and different things like that. So there's a disconnect there. But Startup Investor Drinks.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention our next one is June 20th. It's the Collision After Party. We're almost 200 tickets gone already. It's usually our biggest event of the year. Looks like we'll be giving away tickets to the Futurist Conference. We're going to have chicken wings. There're going to be discounts in our swag bags. There's lots of stuff. It's going to be a great time. There's going to be more investors from out of town. Those people don't know I have a media pass to Collision. Shh, don't tell anybody. So I'll be in the media booth and I'll be talking to investors and getting as many of them to come to our event. So that's the day to pitch. So get your tickets at startupdrinksto.com. If you're going to Collision, we're offering probably another 75. I'm opening up 10 a day as we go. Free tickets for if you have a collision badge. You have to show your badge at the door, but you need to get those tickets because we have limited space and we need to limit the amount of people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we break fire codes and stuff, and people get mad at me, and not prepared to do that. So hopefully we will see you there. Get your tickets there. Otherwise, if you're not coming to Collision, this is a great time to still be a part of it. Like I said, we're going to have the most investors from out of town. It's going to be a packed event. It'll be a great time for this to come. You can still buy a regular ticket, $25. You can get a 1-minute pitch ticket or even a sponsored ticket where you can get a table and 2 minutes to pitch and some other stuff. So depending what you want, it's a great time. And any ticket can give you a 20-second pitch. It's open bar. We have pizza. And you can sign up for the open pitch when you get there. If you're in the room, you can pitch. You just have to sign up for it.
It's a great event.
All right, that's it for now. Anything else you want to talk about, John?
No, we cover a lot, some controversial topics, which is always great. So always fun to talk with you, Craig.
Yeah, and we'll see you again next Thursday. Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.